chair. I need a chair and you need a chair. Can you pull that one up? No one's on yet, don't worry. Hey guys, we're just waiting for people to hop on. We just got back from visit. Oh, I have to turn on the comments. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, air conditioning is blowing my hair like Beyonce.
That's what I need to do.
Okay. Oh, so it says we have 7 people on. Can you guys see us? Okay, sorry. At first I couldn't see that anybody was hopping on. Hey guys, I can't see who anybody is. Let me see if I can fix my comments.
This chair is not easy.
Oh, there we go. Hey Lexi. Hey Original Gamer. Hey Carly. Hey King. Hey Susie. Hey Stephanie. Hey Brooke.
So what do you want?
Hi Lindsay. We're on YouTube. You want to come up? Or you don't want to be
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to shove in like this. Hi guys.
I'm gonna shut that lower. We're right on the heater because it's freezing here. Yesterday was 65 degrees. Today is 25 degrees or something. Oh, Jenna! Hey, girl. So we got a question. Lauren has it on her phone. Last time we were here in November, we got a question from a member who will read hey Jess, who will read, I was actually just going to talk about my video with Jess. So I want to do a disclaimer before we start this video. The question was about the top 5 reasons. This woman asked for the top 5 reasons why met while incarcerated couples don't work out. But I want to do a disclaimer that this came into my head when I created the video with Jess, who just commented. Go back to the video that posted on Thursday. I did a collaboration with Jessica Kent. Check out her channel. She is amazing. Jess, I told Adam all about you today at Visit. He was so excited about our collab. But in that video, I was asking Jess, who was a prison girlfriend as well as an inmate at one point in her life, and now she's successful and in recovery. But we were talking about, I was asking her, you know, what from your perspective do you feel are the warning signs we should, hey Joan, we should look out for when couples or when somebody on the inside is using the outside partner in the relationship. And I felt like I was kind of pushing for her to say, well, break up with them, because we have experienced a lot of couples, a lot of girls on the outside that have been used by the inmate. That is not always the case. We have a handful of people who we are aware of that are successful. So I don't want it to ever come across that I'm pushing for break up, break up, break up. And I feel like maybe in that video I did. So I'm going to see if in the future, hey, bless this mess. What a cute name. Hey, Ray Ray. I'm going to see if in the future I can get some of those couples to come in and I will interview them. Yes, and Jess said, yes, that's not always the case. And I hope we didn't come across that way in that video. And I know Jess came back and she clarified. And I thought about it later. I was like, oh, I hope it didn't look like I wasn't pushing for that. I just feel so protective of our community. And I've seen recently, especially, a lot of MWI, met while incarcerated, couples not working out. So my heart, I feel like I am like the pit bull for our community. So I want to make sure I not come across in any way, shape, or form that seems like you have to break over. You have to break if it's unhealthy or if you're feeling used and abused. So this video is in response to a question I got when Lauren was here, because Lauren was in an MWI relationship that didn't work out. Wait, come on, set hair going on right now. The inmate wants the free one to live, yes, and be happy. If that's not the case, just be aware of the signs. Beautiful, yes, thank you, Jess. So Lauren's trying to fix the chair and the lighting. We're in front of the window, which is clearly in front of the heater because I got Beyonce going on, and we're gonna do a photo shoot with Lauren later for her. She's gonna surprise her boyfriend. And so we might have to do this like in front of here because look how Beyonce we are. Okay, so now that she has her chair,
there we go.
Are you online?
I am.
We've got a secret member friend behind us. Hey, Hazel. We're now because she's behind us on the phone. She might make an appearance. She might not. She might be being shut. Really thought about this. We're professionals.
Okay. So my question is, can you describe top reasons that don't out on the outside. There's different types because of the simple fact them not knowing how the other person behaves in society. If you already answered that in another video, please send me the link and I'd love to watch. If you answered in a video, okay.
I think we've touched on it in other videos, and like I said earlier, like I kind of pushed like, make sure you're not using it. A really wonderful question. And so, okay, top 5 reasons. You want to go back to video number 2? Sure, because that's a good one for you. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so number 1, the inmate was using the person on the outside. So I actually recently had a conversation with somebody who got out after my Beyonce hair. It kind of has a mind of its own. After, hey, Melinda, I had recently had a conversation with somebody who went into prison in his early 20s and got out quite a chunk of time later. And he was like, I've seen it happen, and I've seen it happen a lot. And so, like Jess said earlier, you want to look out for the warning signs. You want to see if they're continuously asking you for money. In an interview that I posted with Adam, it's coming out, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday of this upcoming week. He said, and we talked about it, he's like, ask if they're asking you for too much money. And I said, you know what? It might not be the amount of times they're asking you for money, but it might be their response to the times that you say no to giving them money. If you just don't have it, if you just can't make it, if you're not able to pay the rent or put food in your children's mouths and they get pissed because they need it, that kind of stuff. So mine is choppy. Is anybody else choppy? It might be, we're in like the city's motel because it's like half the price of every other motel in this city. So if it's choppy for you guys, we'll try to find a better area, but unfortunately it's just the connection in this hotel. So anyway, you guys know the warning signs like we talked about on the video with Jess. Like, you'll know in your gut. Women have intuition, and we have such a strong sense of intuition. Oh shoot. Choppy.
I have internet strength.
I think so, but then we're gonna have to like get off of this and log back in. Is it better over here, you guys? We'll just have to forfeit the Beyonce hair, sorry.
Any better?
Is it any better, guys, or is it still choppy? Do you guys like my shirt? It's from Amazon for like $11. I can give you guys the link.
Mine is from the PJ section at Target.
We can give you guys the link for that too. Better. Okay, good. Okay, better. Can you hand me my water though? Yeah. Really dehydrated at visit, and get your notes. Okay.
Man,
so
she's bossy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Get your notes. Get
cracking
this,
the whip. Cracking the whip that you're gonna pose with later. So anyway, okay. Can you guys see Lauren? Do you want to get in and make a little appearance? You look so. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have a guest appearance too.
I'm not drinking water though.
You're drinking Sprite.
I know I had enough water today, so I switched to soda.
Okay, so the last thing I want to say about being used is that females have intuition that we tend to ignore. Just listen. If you feel like something is wrong, explore it. Come to me, come to one of us, come to anybody, Invisible Shackles, Strong Prison Wives. You might just need to vent and say, and talk through your feelings. And sometimes in talking through your feelings, you don't even need the advice from that other person. You hear yourself say it and you're like, something's not right there. But if you feel it in your gut and you have to ask a question, explore that. Yes. Thank you, Jenna. Okay. Number 2.
All right. Old habits and old places. So this is what happened with me specifically. Well, one of the things that happened with me. He got sent right back to the same place that he was before he went in, which means all of the old people, all of the, I say old people, but you know what I mean. The people that were in his life before, all of the places that he used to frequent, all of those things. But again, when you are, yes, definitely be honest.
Definitely.
You are, I'm eating right here. When you are bad for them in the first place, that's also another reason why, because once the way they think, the way at least Eric described it to me inside, is the way they think is that, you know, they get not complacent, but they get so used to one specific way. So if like they create creatures of habit. So our habits are always to go back to what it used to be. So that's generally, those influences, those old people, those old habits, those old places that they used to visit, is what happens now, like him being put back into his house, or him being put back into Virginia, around the same small town area. People are like, oh, you're back. And then it just snowballed from there. So that's definitely the old habits, old places, all the old stuff, like pre-prison stuff, that you can't relate to, especially if you didn't know him, especially if you don't live there. That's another thing, like that definitely hurt us, is I didn't live from that town. I didn't know anybody in that town, and he was from that town. So, and of course it was long distance for us. So for me, old habits, old places is, the number 2 reason.
I think that I want to know Lauren's background story and who Spencer is and what he's referring to. We posted a video in November, and I'll come back when I edit this video when I get home, and I'll put a link to the video I'm talking about, but it's called something like, who is Lauren and why is she with late November, something like that. We posted it. So if you want to know, before I get a chance to
right around Thanksgiving.
Just look back for first reality. And before I get into this, I want you to tell them what you said, because that was very
I actually talked to Eric about this today at Visit. Do you mean because we're talking about we're going to do this video, and these are the reasons that I'm thinking about, or that we've come up with and stuff. And I say, fantasy versus reality, when right now we live in kind of a fantasy world, like, oh, it's going to be great when he comes home. It's not. I mean, it's not. Like, just don't. Reality is that you both are going to struggle when he comes home, because when he comes home, he's going to have to get used to everything he missed while he was out. You've probably been alone by yourself for so long. You've created your own things. So your fantasy of what this relationship is right now, and he's like, it's not fantasy, it's real life. He goes, do you mean free life? So that it clicked in my head, and I was like, okay, yeah, so it's not this is real life. What we're doing right now is real life. He means free life. So our our free life is it is hard. Cat's on. Hey, cat. Hi, cat. So, but yeah, so free life versus real life, because we are living real life right now, and it's not a fantasy. This is our real life right now. It's real life versus free life, and should be the way it should be portrayed, versus fantasy is reality.
Yeah, and just to add to that, a lot of prison wives and people who are involved, especially romantically, with somebody who's inside, put themselves vicariously in prison, right? A lot of people that I've coached throughout the years, they say, oh, he's inside, he's miserable, I need to stay inside, I need to be miserable, I can't go to the party, I can't go celebrate, I can't participate in holidays because he can't. So what Lauren's saying is, you're letting your life pass you by. And something I've worked so hard to coach people on, and I've lectured on so often, is that you have to live your life while he's gone, because like she said, this is real life. We only get this one short life that we've been given. So you have to figure out how you're gonna live now in real life. Free life, prison life, they're all going on at the same time, but it's real life. So we've developed things like goal setting classes, because if you have a goal that I just spit on you, I'm sorry, that you just set out to reach, then you're working towards something, and it kind of relieves you from that, I'm going to keep the covers over my head and not get out of bed because I'm so depressed that my loved one's in jail. And I get it, and that's usually very early on, and you're trying to adjust to this lifestyle and this new way of life and all of the depression that comes along with it, but it is still real life versus fantasy. And just to add to this, I did a video where somebody asked me to respond to Dr. Phil, where he did an episode where he talked about the common characteristics of prison wives. And in there, he was talking about fantasy, and he said, he's like, you don't have to. And he was talking specifically, although he didn't say it, about people who met their loved ones while they were incarcerated. Again, I will put that video in here, but it was titled something like My Response to Dr. Phil. And it was one of my most watched videos of the past few months. And so he said, because you've never had to pick up his dirty socks. You've never had to tell him, get off of the couch. It's been 6 months. Go try to get a job. You've never had to, right though? You've never had to do that with him, because like, he sitting inside, you're talking about, oh, it's going to be glamorous, it's going to be awesome, all I have to do is just get out and things are going to be easy because they're so hard in here. It's going to be so much easier for me out there. Adam says that very often because there are so many obstacles in there, but they tend to forget, and we tend to forget, there are also obstacles out here, and that's okay. That's real life. So we just have to make sure that we're prepared for that. And I got this amazing response from a woman who developed some practices that she does to help her loved one who's done a really long sentence. In fact, I think he either has a really long sentence like Adam, or he's a lifer, but she's preparing just that's overturned. He gets out eventually. I'm gonna make that a separate video because when she posted a comment, she's like, oh yeah, I just kind of came up with that on my own. I'm like, you're a genius. So we'll talk about that later. I just don't want to make this video too long. The next one is,
okay, so I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So one of the things in the last video that her and I did, I had mentioned that I had not spoken to Spencer, and up until a couple of weeks ago, that was true. I had not spoken to him in almost a year. However, I needed to get a hold of him. It was extremely important. I did not want to have to get a hold of him, but I don't want to talk to him. However, I did need to speak to him. It was extremely important. It was something that was going on in my personal life, and he was brought up in it, and I needed him to do something for me. So I actually had to track him down. I tried going through his daughter. That didn't work. She didn't have a working phone number for him, and I managed to find him out at work. Anyway, long story short, I got a hold of him, and then a couple days later, I was like writing a list because he said he was going to call me back to discuss the details of what I needed him to do for me. And I started making a list, and one of the things that like hit me was he always wanted to just put prison behind him. Like he wanted to put that whole chapter behind us. We did have a good visit. Yes, we had a great visit. It was freezing in the visiting room.
it was.
But
She knows. She used to go to McKean, and Adam sends love to you and P.
It was so cold today. So anyway, so one of the things I, really thought about is that he really wanted to put prison behind him, and anything that made him think of prison to put behind him. I was with them for 3 years while he was inside. I reminded him of prison. Therefore, he wanted to put me in the past as well. And just pretend like it didn't exist. That's not reality. Again, fantasy versus reality, not reality. And that is, that's one thing that I really feel like some of these guys that do a lot of short time.
Ooh, I bet.
Hey, never mind. Remind me to go back to that. And then, like, he just, the guys that do the short time, like, they want to forget that they were even in there and pretend like it never even existed and just move on. And if anything that reminds them of that, I feel like that's another reason why.
Also, my lady says she gets very hot and hot to take care of me. I worry more than she does. I'm going to make a video on that separately because you're absolutely right. A lot of times we worry more than they do on the inside. So Ray, can you like text me or email me so I don't forget? My mind gets shot when we visit. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. So a lot of times, it's not necessarily, it's something to avoid, especially if they get in this relationship and then they either revert back to old habits, but they just want to put that whole chapter
Thank you, sweetie.
behind them. They don't want to be reminded. They just want to go forward and not look back. And if you're a part of the looking back, or not the looking back, but part of the past, that could also be another reason why it doesn't work out. And that is what ended up happening between him and I. It was very weird hearing from him on the phone. I had not heard his voice in 11 and a half months.
I would hate if he left me because I reminded him of jail. That's a slap in the face.
It is.
It is. I've had that conversation with Heath. This is part of our story, so it's not over when he gets out. Ooh, that's a great, and that's called reframing. And what she did right there was Melinda just reframed. She took a negative and she made it a positive.
Right.
Because when we were going through this last night and we were coming up with these points, and when Lauren said that, it was so profound in my head. And I've been the person who left people in the past. Like, I've had really good friends through Strong Prison Month where it started co-founder. When her husband got out, I was like, she needs to leave me in the past. I am her quote unquote ball and chain back to this life. And it was like, oh, that is so true. And we don't think of it like that. So what Melinda just said, you guys need to start, especially you guys that are MWI, met him while he was inside, just start working through that with him now. Because consider this sentence, here comes a reframe, your gift. You're blessed with this time so that you can use it to communicate and work through all the tough stuff now. That it's a little bit easier. It's still going to be a little bit of a transition and it can be a struggle when he gets out, but you can use this time to figure it out. So, Lauren can say to Eric, hey, if you want to leave this behind you, how can you not leave me behind you? Because yes, I met you while you were inside, but I'm not prison. I'm your future.
And to that note, Eric and I have talked to this more than once, because I do know that that is what is going to happen. Like I've been through this once before, and I did have an MWI relationship not work out, and now here I am back in another situation, and I'm vocalizing all of this thinking is the exact opposite of Spencer's, in that you're helping me through one of the biggest times of my life, large time with me. I'm going to rely on you. Like, he's already told me he's going to be codependent on me when he gets out, and I'm like, okay, first of all, we're not going to be codependent. Second of all, you're an independent. We'll be independent, but you're not going to depend on me to do everything. But we've talked about counseling and how it's important, because they don't have it in there right now. That's part of the problem too, is they have no one to listen to them, help them deal with their PTSD and all of their issues that they've got going on in prison. So when they do come out, yes, you are going to need therapy, regardless. Like, that's just something he and I have already agreed to. We've already discussed it, that type of stuff. So we're not in La La Land. We're not back to that fantasy land that isn't really fantasy land, but we're not in that La La Land that everything's going to be okay. But again, if they don't want to, if they do, putting the positive spin on it is, yes, okay, maybe you can put it in as, I'm helping you through this tough time and grow up stronger.
Back here. Are you coming?
Are you gonna come?
Yay! You guys have to meet our dear sweet sister Devon, who I talk about all the time. Devon from Mercy Me 924C. Do you want to do another video later and introduce Mercy Me?
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay. But she had. Do you want me to say it? She had a great point about have the conversation now.
Oh yeah.
Have the conversation now while you can. While you can work through it now and talk through it now. Hey, welcome to YouTube. Yeah. Devon was a Periscope star back when we used to do Periscope. We used to do it together a lot, but we got to get you used to YouTube.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You're a YouTuber now. Go ahead. Go.
Lauren and Ro, I just want to commend you for what you are doing. You're opening up the conversations and inviting everyone in to start thinking about the things that are coming.
Yes.
But when they get out,
yes,
they have no clue.
Yes.
They're so optimistic and they're just ready to just move and think that everything is going to be fine, hunky-dory. It's not. There are going to be so many obstacles that will come their way, and we're going to need to help them through it. So much has happened and transpired since they've been in prison. The internet.
Yes.
Phone.
Yes. Adam said today, I've never touched a smartphone.
It's just, it's unreal.
Yeah.
And Lauren, what you are doing, I'm so proud of you. I'm just standing there like, wow.
Do you want to talk a little bit? First of all, Jenna, I want to come to your wedding and I will do your makeup. So we'll figure it out. Number two, I always refer back to something that you told me a long time ago. I'm going to say it off camera in case you don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Little quirks and he's living downstairs. Do you want to talk about that a
that
little
was
bit? Your son?
Yeah, that was my son.
Do you want to talk about that a
Sure,
little bit? Okay.
Yes. Oh, one of the things that my son also did, 13 years in prison, and when he came home, I would always go into the bathroom and the tissue is on a dispenser. I go into the bathroom and the tissue is sitting on on the counter. Why am my toilet tissue off the spindle? He says, because I don't like to get my hands dirty. And in prison, you don't have a spindle to put your toilet tissue on. He said, Mom, things are just habit. It's just habit.
Yeah.
It was almost like a traumatic thing for him.
Yeah.
Not only that, but even going outside. He went outside and he just would stand in the yard and just look up and down the street. And I thought, when you mentioned counseling, excellent idea. I thought, man, now I gotta pay some money to get this boy. He's just about to lost his mind. So, yeah.
These are the things, though, as wives, like Lauren was saying earlier, we live in this fantasy. Everything's gonna be so perfect when they come out. So when something like that happens, and you're already kind of on edge because everything's not going the way that you had planned, and it's not, you're not vacationing in Hawaii for the 10th time in a week because that's what we're thinking about. Everything's gonna be perfect and great. Those are the things that can lead you to snapping and not talking through it. And I always say snapping, I'm so dramatic. I don't mean snapping. I mean just like having a argument after argument after argument. This isn't going to work out. You'll snap. Thank you. I'm so freaking Jersey and dramatic. Like, I snapped, and somebody was like, you snapped. I'm like, not like that. But these are the things that as we talk through this stuff and you listen to people like Devon who have experienced, Kat, who her loved one has come home and experienced these things, you can be prepared for them and prepare, I keep spitting on you, to talk through them and prepare to work through them with a therapist or whomever or whatever helps you, or just taking your kind of like a time out. I think it was Heather that was talking to me about the person who folded the towels, or was that you? They folded the towels when they got home. Maybe it was Heather commenting on you, and she was like, I don't understand why this dude has to freaking fold his towel into this tiny little thing. And it was because was that you?
No.
No. That he didn't have. I've already spoken to a therapist in preparation for my husband and myself going to therapy. Yes, Heather, that was you. Can you just tell me if like I'm right, or just kind of help clarify the story? But he literally would roll his towels and make them in these tiny little things, and she was like, it drove me nuts. But it was because he didn't have any space when he was in prison. So it's just these little quirks that eventually they'll drop, or maybe they won't, but it doesn't really matter as long as you guys work through it. So the last one, do you guys have anything else to say about
I was gonna say one of the little quirks that I noticed, his clothes as well. Yes, so his clothes, and they can sleep anywhere, because you got to remember, prison's loud. It's really loud. I was always amazed at where, like when Spencer came home, like how quickly he could fall asleep no matter where he was. It was the weirdest quirk, but I can't do that. Like I can't just sleep anywhere, but it is because they're so used to the loud noises all day long in the day room and all that stuff.
He rolled and tucked them in a very tiny hot dog.
Yeah.
That's crazy. This is a little bit off topic, but tell them about when Spencer
I mean, it was like, I was like, did you do? I couldn't believe how quickly that's another quirk that, the eating was the same thing with military, but like they eat so fast because they don't know, one, if something's going to happen in the chow hall.
Yeah.
So they got to make sure they eat super fast.
Isn't that true?
I know.
It's true. Really, too, he was like, they don't give you a lot of time. You got to get up and go, and they rotated in. So, but I couldn't believe how quickly he was eating. That was another quirk that was really bad.
So that was number 4, right? Putting prison behind them, or was that?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5, you guys, is compatibility. So it kind of, I think, goes hand in hand with it kind of goes hand in hand with the rest of them. Like, you might just not be compatible outside of prison. There are people that have told me this, MWI, that like, we were a really good prison couple, but when he got out, we didn't know how to be an outside couple. All we knew was how to be a prison couple. So then they just like, they didn't have anything in common or anything that they realized as time progressed, and it could be sexually, it could be emotionally, it could be so many different things, but you're not compatible and you didn't realize it. So I always tell everybody this: if you're going to be in this for the long haul and go into a prison relationship for the long haul, you need to know that it's probably 50-50 that you're not going to be compatible. So if you're investing all this time and all these years, you have to be okay with it not working out. And that sounds so, for lack of a better word, like morbid, like I'm going into my relationship for it to fail. But it's almost like signing a prenup. Like, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to sign a prenup because that means my relationship's going to fail. No, you're just being realistic. reality over fantasy. You have to know I'm investing all this time and it might not work out. But that said, that's any relationship, isn't it? Like that's how many marriages end in divorce.
I've got one of
Go
those.
ahead.
I kind of think it's important too to try to understand your mate. Ask the questions. You know, you reality. I think you still have to go into a little bit of fantasy.
Yes.
Because that's some of your goals.
A little bit, but not all of it.
No.
Yeah.
But you need to get a background of what. Ian, he likes basketball. That's important to him. I need to know that.
Yeah.
So that if I'm not a basketball fan,
Basketball.
it's
an inside joke. Don't worry about it. We're not going to tell you.
The fish.
Yeah.
What if you don't like the fish?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like the fish?
Gotta be some of the things.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that they
Florida
like
girl
to
here.
do, you know. So
Yeah.
you need to know some of those things, and those are some of the things you gotta do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. I was going to say something.
Just communicate. Just ask questions.
Talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, you just have to keep talking. Eric and I, who was it that posted? Melinda, was this you that posted on the Facebook group about your sign and all of that stuff? So Eric and I have the same birthday. We're both Scorpios. If that gives you any indication of how, like, I mean, you're either, if you're a Scorpio and a Scorpio, you're either like great. Yes, it was Melinda. Okay. You're either like super, super great or you want to kill each other. We are like the exact same person. I feel like I'm talking to a male version of myself most days. So when he starts like getting, super intense, we are beyond intense. Like there have been times where I'm like, shh, you're getting too loud. Cause he's the same as me. Like, and it's funny when I go home, and my niece will come over. She's like, you're talking so loud. I'm like, yeah, it's just who I am. But Eric and I are very similar in that way. So we have a lot of stuff for compatibility right now. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be, I mean, we're compatible right now, but we could be we could be the opposite when he gets home. We don't know. But I'm willing to take the risk, you know, because why not? I want to live in my real life. Like, this is my real life. I'm not in a fantasy. I'm not this time around anyway. So but I feel like we are compatible. But again, when he comes home, that split side of the Scorpio, we could end up being completely uncompatible. And that's just the risk that you take in any relationship, no matter what.
Have fun. Just
have fun. Get to know. Use this time to your advantage.
Yes.
Like Devon said, this is your time to get to know you don't have anything physical. Use it to email. Go ahead.
You know what? I think that this is, from all the relationships that I've ever had, I think that this is the best relationship because I have gotten to know Ian from the inside out.
Yeah. Yes.
And not. Sometimes sex taints things. You can't see what their potential is. You don't know. I love this dude because of how I know his heart.
Yes.
And not his penis.
Yes.
I'm just sorry. I'm just keeping it real.
No, keep it real because I say that all the time. When you're dating, you 3, 4, a couple dates, you sleep together, and then you don't learn each other's soul. You don't learn what makes each other tick. You don't learn if you're compatible or not. You know you're compatible in bed, and that's good enough, and you go on, and that's cool.
Yes,
that's fine. But use this time to your advantage, where when you're connected on such a deep level, most likely the physical is going to be that much better. It's not going to be the opposite, where we're really sexually compatible. And we can get really intimate. I've had a lot of not a lot, but I've had
reel that back. Let's start that sentence over.
Yeah, because I haven't, but I'm thinking of a relationship in particular where we were so compatible in bed, but we had nothing in common. Nothing. I don't want to be in a relationship like that just because sex is good. Keeping it real. So, do you guys want to say anything else about compatibility?
I mean, it kind of is. It's. Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much said it all. Like, but yes, again, the communication with being in the compatibility and that, like you get to know a completely different level, which makes it that much better.
Yeah. So the last one I'm going to put in 2 cents, and then I'm going to let Lauren take over, because this kind of happened to her. Ray Ray said, "I love that I feel as though I'm courting her." Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And she does. She's so cute. So the last one is the system, and the system is designed to keep beds full. The system is designed to get them back in as fast as they release them. Although it wasn't originally designed for that, that's kind of what it's turned into. It's a money game, right? So how many people are put in a position where they're kind of forced into violating, and violating as in probation, parole, and they go back in? Or in Lauren's case, the system wouldn't let them. You kind of touched on it before, but go ahead, you could take over.
So in my situation with Spencer, the last one, yeah, that's bothering me.
I didn't even notice it.
I did. Oh, only because I pay attention to that crap. Anyway, in the last, so we tried to get Spencer to be able to move. So he was up for a transfer, and we wanted him to be able to go from Beaumont, Texas, hopefully to the southeast region, because I live in Florida. And he was sentenced out of the Mid-Atlantic region. This is the BOP that we're talking about. I don't know DOC. You're barking up the wrong tree with the DOC with me. I got nothing. BOP, we're all good. All of us, actually. Anyway, so they wanted to move him back to...
Are you ladies in Michigan? I'm at a really nice in prison. We talked for a while now. Got about 4 more years to go. So go to facebook.com and then, search Invisible Shackles. Because I run an organization that's it's part of this, but it's called Strong Prison Wives. So you'll find the Strong Prison Wives page, and then you'll find the Invisible Shackles page, and you'll find more ladies from Michigan there that probably have experience with Michigan DOC. Like Lauren said, we're all involved in the federal system, so we can tell you from federal point of view.
So in my, going back to my group, yes, it is an awesome group. So going back to what I was saying, so Spencer was up for a transfer, and we were trying to get him moved to the southeast region. I actually had somebody from the probation office in Tampa, just where I live, come out to my home, inspect my home, because there's this big long thing that they have to go through in order to change their address for their home address to put them into a different region. And my house approved. The lady was like, your house is great, but he has no family ties here. So they set him up to send him, like we said, back in the back, old habits, old places. The BOP denied him coming to me.
But you should have been married.
We should have been married. The warden stopped doing weddings at the prison he was in, so we weren't allowed to get married. We were
just royally screwed them in every way.
We got royally screwed pretty much every way we were supposed to. So we were supposed to get married in April of 2015, and
we wouldn't be together today. I've not gone to prison. Oh, great point. We were both on a destructive path. Now we're so close. Yeah, I know her background story, and yes, and I think a lot of couples are like that. Go ahead.
So we we were trying to get married. That didn't work. The warden said no more weddings, even though they were only doing them 2 times a year there anyway. They were doing them in April and October. There's no more weddings here either.
Ever?
Yeah, this warden said no. Eric told me that today. Anyway, so we tried to get married so that he had a home base, because we were afraid that because I was just listed as his friend, even though we were engaged. But the BOP denied us and said no, because he had family ties back in his old town. The only problem was that Spencer didn't want any of those family ties. I say he didn't want them. He has 3 adult children and 1 small child, and his mom and dad, and he's got friends and stuff like that, but he didn't want to go back there. He knew that if he got put back there, that something was going to happen. Again, number 2, old habits, old places. So the system set us up to basically fail. They denied us getting married. They denied us him moving to my place, even though he did not want to go back home, and he was very adamant about that.
Last year was the last year for weddings at McKean. She fought her ass off to get that wedding, If it wasn't for Heather, about 8 girls wouldn't have gotten married that year.
Yeah. So
She fought her ass off.
yeah. So that's what Eric said. Eric said there's no more weddings there today. He had pointed to one of the guys in the room today and said he was one of the last guys that got married. So the system, especially the BOP, if you're trying to change where they're going, changing their address, when they're doing that type of stuff, that's when the system is against you, and you just kind of had that. There was nothing we could do. It was out of our hands. We were told no. They didn't give us really a good reason other than family ties. And he was like, those family ties are old enough to travel, basically is what he said. You know, they're old enough. He got, out of 9 couples, only 3 of us actually got married. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Maybe we could do a video on that, Heather, if you're cool with it, or we could do a phone interview if you don't want to be on video.
So compatibility is definitely, or not, the system, excuse me, is definitely not set up to be good to you guys.
Well, look at Kat. Kat, who was on this video earlier, I'm not sure if she's still here, literally holds her breath every Thursday because it's parole Thursday. Yeah. And she doesn't know if he's going to come home or not. And he's a good boy. He works his butt off. He is in for curfew. He doesn't do anything wrong. But it's just, she just knows that they set them up one day. Like they play games. They play games. Mm-hmm. I just want to touch on something Lauren just said, and we're going to do it in a different video. But she said she was listed as his friend. Unless you're legally married, if you're his girlfriend, if you're his fiance, or anything in between, her fiance, her girlfriend, you are listed as their friend, and you have no legal rights to know anything, to call for any information. So I'm going to talk about that on a different video, and we'll talk about getting power of attorney, weddings, and all that stuff so you have a say, because we experienced something very traumatic as a group within our community last week, and I don't want to get too into the details because the person who was affected, like I said last week on a video, the absolute worst fear of any prison life happened to this woman. So she will come on when she's ready. She already told me she will, and make a video about it. But right now she's not ready. So I'm not going to air her laundry, of course. But the point is, there's ways to protect yourself if you're not legally married to them, or something like this. Like Lauren, if she wanted to marry Eric, can't because they stopped weddings. But there's ways she could protect herself because he does have some medical issues. So she needs to be like that next of kin. And we'll talk about that on another video. But I think that's it for this one. We've been on for over 40 minutes. So we're going to let you guys go. We might be back to talk about Mercy May, maybe? Maybe. That's why I insisted we marry before he left. Yes. Unfortunately, not everyone gets that time option to plan. Yes, you're so right. We're getting married in Quaker Way. You can look into that. I've never
married the Quaker Way.
Oh, the Quaker Way. I'm like, in Quaker Way, that's a facility. You've been in prison life too long.
Melinda, will you do me a favor and will you reach out to me? I have a question for you about Fort Dix. Please and thank you.
Does she know your email?
Probably not.
She can PM you on.
She can. We're friends on Facebook. You can direct message me.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? She will, absolutely. Okay. Does anyone have anything else for any of us while we're on this video? Any experience with the system trying to rip you apart? Any experience? Oh, she has your number. Yeah. Any experience with anything you want to talk about? Any prison life related anything? We'll stay on. I'm currently at Fort Dix too. Okay,
Heather's
awesome.
There too.
Anything else and Heather's husband was at McKean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So does anyone have anything else before we go? Be safe. Thank you, sweetheart.
It's stopped snowing.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it got nicer out.
Looks are deceiving.
This is true.
It looked like that kind of at the visiting room too, and then all of a sudden it started snowing.
Very true.
I'm over his medical. Yeah, I had to have the conversation today with him about his medical.
Because of that, had to have the conversation. Like, I have his power of attorney, but it's just like the 3-line one.
Yep.
Like, we need to talk about getting the different powers of attorney that we're going to talk to you guys about on a different video. Thank you, sweetheart.
Waiting in Ashland, FCI, waiting for camp transfer to the Northeast region. Okay.
Oh.
Camp's not bad.
Look in your
I dealt with
inbox.
a camp.
Will do, sweetheart.
Spencer was in
I
the
love
camp.
this video. Thank you, ladies. You're welcome. All right, you guys, keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from Lauren's heart, Devon's heart, and my heart to all of yours. We'll see you guys in the next one.